What's up, guys? Phantom here, back with episode 5 of my F1 2020 My Team career mode here with Minority, as we will have a 4-day vehicle PR filming and then an interview on the 25th with a attendance to an F1 eSport event and then the Grand Prix on the 30th here. As you can see, we've actually been passed by Haas in development there slightly, but we do have a powertrain and a chassis upgrade coming before the race here, so I feel like if they do pass and don't fail on us, that we will be ahead of them again, as you can see here on the R&D chart, as we actually had to move to our second power units, as our ICE has already started to crap out on us. As you can see, we have $2.5 million, as probably next episode we'll upgrade our facility again as we advance the timeline here, as we will have our interview with Will Buxton on the 25th here. As
head over to the corporate tab and select the sponsors screen to choose who we should approach.
Thanks so much for the invitation to your HQ. Let's have a little chat about the team's performance this season. Would it be safe to say that in terms of team orders, your career comes first in your team? Your second driver seems to be getting much more comfortable with their car. Have you been focusing on their development? Let's talk about your new second driver. How are they settling in? Well, thanks a lot for inviting us here. It's been fantastic.
as we finish off our advancing time here, as we have our upgrades pass, it looks like there on the 28th, as we will head to the new Netherlands Grand Prix at Zandvoort. As we come through the penultimate corner here onto the very brand new final corner here, as I said, it was a new track. It's a very new, updated track, but a very old track, as it has not seen action since I think 1984, since Niki Lauda won over Alan Prost here. As we come through the middle sector here, as we are doing pretty well here, as we come through the penultimate corner onto the final corner here, as really this will probably be the main opportunity to pass here, as the backstretch isn't very long, as we come across the line, and we will miss qualifying by about 3.5 tenths there, as we just weren't quick enough, as we will head to the race.
It was 35 years ago that the late great Niki Lauda took his 25th and final Grand Prix win here at Zandvoort. He came from 10th on the grid to beat his McLaren teammate Alan Prost by just 0.2 of a second. Well, Zandvoort is a very different circuit today, of course, but still one with an incredible legacy. And we're going to add to that. Welcome along to the 2020 Dutch Grand Prix. Zandvoort circuit then, 14 corners, 10 to the right and 4 to the left, with plenty of steep camber and elevation changes to keep our drivers on their toes throughout the 2.6 mile lap. And watch out for cars making use of the DRS zone into turn 1 to try and overtake. With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Sebastian Vettel has a clear track ahead of him today. He starts in pole position, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Perez, Ricciardo, Lando Norris, and Ocon, Kvyat, Gasly, Magnussen, and Roman Grosjean, Stroll, Leclerc, Valtteri Bottas, and Sainz, Albon, the owner-driver, Kimi Raikkonen, and Antonio Giovinazzi. Russell, Raghunathan, Latifi, and Lewis Hamilton rounds off the grid. And with lights out, just moments away.
As we sit here on the grid after Hamilton has a 20-place grid penalty, as the 5 lights are off and we are away there, as we get a pretty average start as we start to pull alongside Albon as we go down the inside here, as we kind of take it a little bit cautious. We don't want to get sideswiped by one of the top guys here, as Ferrari's still very good, still hasn't updated, as they're going really slowly through this hairpin, as this is probably the weakest corner for the AI here on the track, as they just don't take enough speed through the corner, as you can go a little bit deeper and don't have to stay around the very bottom, as we have to defend from Bottas here, as it looks like he's made it work around the outside, as we kind of have to hold him off there as he's gone past, but we're going to dive it up the inside there and kind of compromise his line there as we lose the back end there a little bit. As we come on to end of lap 1 here, as Vettel sets the fast lap, they're really slow off the back end here, as Grosjean, I think, has some wing damage. Will pit as we look to the inside of Stroll, as we're going to go 3 wide down into turn 1 and take positions off of a Ferrari, and we are up into points for the second time in this career mode here, as you can see from Bottas. As we were looking around the outside there for a split second as they were coming up the track, we dodged back low, and as you can see, as Stroll just looks to be in the middle, as he's lost out big time there. As we come on to the middle sector here, we have yellow flags and a safety car, and Norris there is down into the infield section, the inside of the track, as you will see later here, as Ricciardo is also off the track there. So that is really weird, as they're off at different sections here, as Norris was coming through and he kind of just hit Ricciardo there, as it looks like Ricciardo had a problem there, as he kind of just swiped back on the track, and Norris has lost his front right wheel as we come on to lap 4, going on the lap 5, as the safety car is in, as we're going to try to get a run here on Magnussen, as we've made it work kind of, as we'll be down his inside here, as we actually will be down the inside of Gasly, as we definitely get out of that with that wall on the inside there. We were never going to make it the work. The AI would have squeezed us out there, as we made a mistake there in the middle sector, as that's probably our weakest corner, as Leclerc easily will get past us there, as we come on to lap 8, coming on the lap 9, as the AlphaTauris ahead have been holding up Leclerc there, so he's not very far ahead, but he will scutter out into the distance here. As you can see, it's already a lap later and he's way far behind, as I really didn't know where the pit limit line was, as so we took it very cautious into the pit lane there, as we are the very last grid slot here, pit slot here, as we come out, as we almost jumped Leclerc there. That actually distracted me a bit, as we threw the pit limit on a little bit late there, but this is a really tight entry back onto the track, as you wait forever here, as we come on to lap 10, as our teammate Raghunathan is in the pits, as we gain a fair amount of track position that we lost by pitting, but Bottas has come back and has jumped us in the pits like he probably should, as he is on the Mercedes, as he was really slow coming out of the pits, as I tried to go around the outside like I did on lap 1, but that is backfired, as Albon got to our side, as we used up basically everything to get ahead of him, as we are in a crucial P10, as we really need this point here to get our championship, at least for 10th or 9th going, as we are defending from Albon. But the thing is, this front straightaway just is not long enough. It just isn't long enough, especially with us with having DRS, as Grosjean, who pitted because of the wing, has actually stayed out, as he's really backing everybody up here, as this is the only reason we're here, as we kind of ran Albon out of the room. I really didn't see him, as he kind of distracted me when he did hit me, and I kind of went wide there, as we'll dive it down the inside there, try to squeeze him out, leave him no room to get off into this hairpin section, as a lot of these hairpins are pretty weird. They're pretty unique. There's on the penultimate lap, we have absolutely just almost thrown it away there, as we're side by side with Sainz, who's gotten ahead of Albon, as we have to basically use up everything again to try to defend, as we're defending into the second DRS zone here, as he's trying to go around the outside, but we're going to squeeze him out there, as really it was going to still be kind of hard for him to go around the outside there. As on the final lap, we were really defending from Albon here, as we come into the second DRS zone, as Vettel in a Ferrari has won here at the Netherlands, as we are kind of really holding on for dear life here for P10, as really the only thing that has saved us is Grosjean up there backing up everybody and giving me DRS on Bottas here. But as we come out of the final corner, it will be P10 and the first points for Minardi since 2005.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Ferme.
Many doubted whether they could pull off the win here in Zandvoort, but they have done, and done it in spectacular style. What do you think it was, Ant, that gave them the edge over the competition today?
Well, they played the safety car to absolute perfection. There are so many factors to worry about once the race is neutralised. I mean, do you pit for fresh rubber? Do you have the space behind you? How much fuel can you save? If you answer all of those questions correctly, you'll have a good chance. And that's exactly what happened today.
Ferrari are at it again, an excellent performance at today's Grand Prix, and they're certainly a team that know what they're doing out there. Let's see what effect this result has had on the drivers' standings. Well, the gap at the top of the championship has been cut down after a difficult race today for our championship leader. After an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
Charles Leclerc showed exactly how to manage yourself out on the track today. He was almost flawless out there. Incredible stuff.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. Ferrari take the lead at the top of the table. Meanwhile, AlphaTauri's strong weekend allows them to continue their march up the table. It's been an absolutely wild weekend of Formula One action. I can't wait to see what's next.